Hello and good afternoon, Commanders, and yes, welcome back to a Elite Dangerous stream. And my screen is entirely black, so for some reason, Streamlabs isn't capturing Elite either at the moment. So I'm going to have to go delve in to figure out why that is. Anyway, welcome one, welcome all, welcome Commanders. Now this is not going to be a normal gaming stream, because as you know, I'm not actually playing Elite Dangerous at the moment, but I do want to continue to evaluate the condition the game is in. So this isn't really a playthrough. This is basically trying to answer the question: has update 6, which has obviously just come out, has it has it fixed anything? And obviously we want it to be fixed, right? So I'm kind of hopeful. So let's find out. Let's find out if I can just get. This is the first thing: is why isn't Streamlabs picking up Elite Dangerous? Let's see if I can get it. Right, there we go. It's now working. Right. Let's stick that in place. Right. Let's move that down there. With a bit of luck, in a moment. Oh, no, not that one. There we go. That one. You should be able to see me. Yeah, there it goes. Right. Okay, it's working. First things first. There is this thing called the Jesus patch, isn't there, which fixes everything basically. I don't know if it might be a bit optimistic to expect update 6 to be doing that, but we'll find out. We'll find out. So let's see how it goes. Now, a few notes on this. Okay, so I've put up a few videos recently, and I've had some, shall I say, slightly snarky comments on Twitter. Which have made me chuckle, I have to say. Yeah, along the lines, didn't you say you were going to quit? Yeah, for 6 months 1 month ago. Well, first things first, I never said I was going to quit for 6 months. The 6 months was based on when Frontier said they were going to fix the game, which was the console release. Now that's clearly changed because the plan has changed. So, but you know, to be completely accurate, I'm not playing Elite Dangerous, and I'm not playing Elite Dangerous because of the state Frontier left the game in at the release, and Update 5 hadn't fixed it. Now, if Update 6 has fixed it, this is a good thing, because then I can get back onto my Discord with my bunch of, desperados, shall we say, and start planning some content for the game again, which was the whole intention that we were planning to do post Odyssey. So I'm encouraged that if this is good, then we can start planning the things that we were going to be planning a few months ago, and then start getting them back into the game, etc., etc., etc. However, if it's not fixed, then it's not fixed. And I won't be playing it, kind of not so much on principle or out of spite, simply because, you know, I haven't got time to faff about with a thing that doesn't work, okay? Which is slightly different to, you know, my other hobbies like my cars, which I am spending an awful lot of time faffing around with things that don't work. But that's kind of the point of old cars. Whereas this is a product, all right? I bought, you know, we've all bought this, or some of us have bought Elite Dangerous Odyssey, and we jolly well should expect it to work, okay? Now, and I know software is different and all those kind of things, but you know, it's a product. People pay money for it. We should expect it to work. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Okay, but has it been fixed? This is the question I'm trying to get at today. And the other thing, just while I'm on that topic, is I've throughout my Elite Dangerous career, in inverted commas, I've been accused many times. You're an absolute shill for Frontier, you. You're dastardly. You've sold out to Frontier, and you never say anything critical of Frontier. And so I've had that. Okay, I've also had slightly more in recent times. You never say anything good about Frontier. You're always got a downer about Frontier, right? Etc. 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 And I got told off for my last video, my last but one video actually, which was, you know, the question: is Elite Dangerous dying? To which the answer I came to the conclusion was no, for the reasons I outlined in the video. But that got me into trouble as well, because apparently I shouldn't have titled it "Is Elite Dangerous Dying?" I should have said, "No, it's not dying, and here's the reasons why." And I said, well, I felt the question was worth asking. And then I got accused of just making videos for clicks. So I was like, well, you can never win. So basically, my view on all these things is if I'm offending about 100% of the people half of the time, I'm probably about right. That's my kind of view. And you know, as a writer and as somebody who's on YouTube and on Twitter, you know, you just kind of got to go with the criticism. Okay, so I feel that I've been fair but hard on Frontier, because I think they did cock this up really badly. So that's my view. Are they redeeming themselves? Yes, they are. Are they redeeming themselves fast enough? Good question. Have they redeemed themselves yet? Is the question I'm trying to figure out. I know people accusing somebody of something on the internet. Say it's not so. So I am off the official forums at the moment as well. I've kind of not bothered logging in there. I probably won't for the foreseeable future because they've just got, shall we say, excessively moderated, and I think they're quite out of line. And that's just my opinion. So take that. Yeah, that's me. That's nothing to do with you guys. That's just my own personal view on it. But anyway, that's not what we're here to complain about. We're here to evaluate the game. Can you hear Space Rain? Yes, it's Space Rain happening in the background. So I've got the window open because the PC does chuck out a lot of heat. And as you can see, actually you can't see because my overlay is not working, but I have got my afterburner thingy running so I can kind of keep an eye on stats. Now, here in the menu of Elite Dangerous, my GTX 1070 is showing 85% utilization, which does seem a bit excessive for a menu, I have to say, but my CPU is only running at 22%, so fingers crossed. Now, the other good thing about this is it appears so far to be streaming. Okay, I seem to be here, although there's a lot of smoke drifting in. I'm pretty sure. In fact, I'm 100% confident. This smoke is actually not from my PC. It's actually from it's an effect on the game. Okay, so it's not my PC on this. Although anyway, there we go. Now, according to this, I'll put it on the screen. Let me just go to Elite Dangerous. Right, let's put the FPS counter on so you can see what's going on. Okay, so there we go. FPS is 60, so that's a good start. Now I have, for those the technical amongst you who want to know, I'm running an i7 8700 PC. I have 16 gigabytes of RAM. This is installed on SSD. I have a GTX 1070 graphics card with, I think, 4 gigabytes of RAM or 8. I'm not sure. At the moment, I have 60 frames per second. My monitors are locked at 60 frames per second, so it won't go any higher than that. That's yeah. As far as I'm concerned, that's good. If it stays at 60, I'm a happy bunny. So I'm putting the game through exactly the same conditions that I personally, as a content creator for Elite Dangerous, i.e. the sort of stuff that I do, which for those of you who don't know, is an interactive kind of storytelling environment where we have multiplayer in the game, multiplayer kind of in the chat, and we're interacting there. That's what I need Elite Dangerous to be able to capable of doing. Okay, so 1070 is 8 gigs, so I didn't know. I'm not a very technical person, right? At least I try not to be a very technical person. Okay, so but I need it to work in my rig. Okay, I need it to work on my rig. Okay, and it simply wasn't working on my rig. So let's see how it goes. So I'm going to use the same conditions. I'm streaming it, which obviously is why you're able to watch me. I'm playing the game in the configuration that it's decided is appropriate. Okay, so I have updated my NVIDIA graphics drivers. I have rebooted my router. I have rebooted all my networky stuff. It's a reboot of the PC, so it's all nice and clean. Elite Dangerous is the only thing running apart from Streamlabs. It's got new drivers. I deleted all the stuff, all the graphic config files. I reinstalled the game from scratch to make sure I had the best possible chance of working. All right. Let's see if it's worked. Okay, so if you're about and you want to join any of this, I'm in. I will start it because I need to work it multiplayer. So multiplayer is where we're going to be. I'm going to run it in my private group, which is the Drew Wager private group, and we're going to see where we're. Now I think, as I recall, I'm in my home system of Eulexia. So let's see how. Basically see how we're doing. So I'm going to run through a few scenarios. I want to try the concourse. I want to try space. Clearly, it's a space game, and I want to try planet surfaces. So those are the kind of things. Alessia Verdi is my new Commander player character. Well, actually, a little bit of trivia. Alessia Verdi is my original 1984 Commander save. She has existed in my head since the original Elite. And I found her name in a sci-fi book, which I cannot remember the name, which is a bit annoying, and borrowed it for my Elite Commander back in 1984 and 1985. And I've used it ever since. It's my sort of, well, it's a gamer tag before gamer tags were a thing. So Alessia Verdi has been around a long, long time. Good luck, Drew. This may be a short stream. Well, anyway, let's, my objective here is not to prejudge the game. I didn't want to know if it's okay. So this is actually my space station, which is Mad J Wagers in the Ulexia system. So if you want to find me, you should be able to do so. So let me... trouble is I haven't played the game since update 5. I've forgotten all the keys. No, it's all coming back to me. It's all muscle memory. There we go. Right, so, okay, friend requests all working. Right, I've got, okay, 50-ish frames per second, moving between 50 and 60. Okay, that's good. Not it seems perfectly reasonable to me here. So first things first, the Concorde. Let's go and check out the Concorde, which is Disembark. There we go. Let's see. Right, so here we go. Okay, and suit energy 100%. That's new. Does that mean it recharges from when you stand here? Because if so, that's a nice little bonus. Oh, that is quite nice. Okay, so they must have added that. That's good. Okay, so far, this is optimistic. All right. So I'm getting 60 frames per second here in the bay. Okay, so and those graphics do look a little bit better. By the way, for those of you wondering, when the game installed, it does do a profile of your system. So I deleted everything to make sure it would reprofile my system, and it has decided that my PC is capable of ultra settings, which I was a little bit surprised at, actually, because my PC is not state of the art. But if it, you know, basically, I'm not going to fiddle about. Okay, this is one of my rules of computer games, because I'm just not. I'm too old. I'm not interested. Yeah, and I know there's some new AMD wizardry in the menus, and there's this setting and this slider and all that stuff. I can't be bothered, right? The game should figure that out for me. It should, you know, figure out what my PC is capable of, adjust its settings. I want to run it on this resolution in this monitor. You do all the clever stuff for me. I'm not here to do technical stuff, all right? Anyway, so I have a Crate Mark II, as you can see, and in here everything is actually looking good. I can't see any missing textures, so that's encouraging. Everything seems pretty smooth. My GTX is now running at 95% utilization. CPU is 50, so again, all right. I think there's a few little hiccupy moments there. How does it look on the stream, by the way? Does it look okay? I mean, give me feedback on the stream as well as to what it looks like, because it's important for me to know what the actual feeling of the game is in terms of you know, how it streams, because that's another important calculation. Anyway, this all looks good. Sounds like you need to switch to a console, yeah. So, we can't. Actually, I don't even know. Can you stream from a console? It's looking good on the stream, so this is encouraging. Okay, so this is the hangar. Everything looking good here. Excellent. So, okay, well there we go. Thumbs up for that one. Let's jump into the lift. Okay. Have these been recoloured? Because I don't remember them being purple before. They did look good. Sorry about the space rain in the background. So, anyway, okay, so here we are. This was where it was a bit problematic. Okay, so it's dropped a bit. 30, 40 frames per second. Again, looks kind of okay. So, as actually, yeah, no, I don't see anything kind of really wrong. We haven't changed much in here. We've still got the same dodgy mission givers hanging around, like kind of mission things. You can stream from console. Okay, so that's encouraging. Okay, so it's dropped down to the 40s frames per second, but that's okay. Of course, the other thing we are looking for, the one thing it did do to me on last time I tried to stream was, you know, it did do a crash to desktop as well. So hopefully we'll be avoiding that sort of thing. Okay, so so far so good. I must admit, having played No Man's Sky for a bit, I want to go up here and press E and harvest some oxygen. So yeah, it's jumping around 40 frames per second, which isn't bad. And you know, I want to interact and I want to sit on these seats, but I know I can't. Why can't I sit here? I want to keep pressing the E button. Anyway, never mind. Okay, so far good. No problems with the graphics as far as I can see. I say this is 1080p that I'm playing the game in. I suspect it's streaming slightly lower than that, but you know, that's okay. So this all looks pretty reasonable. My GTX 1070 is running at 95% utilization and is basically has used all the memory. It's kind of up to 7 gigs of memory used. Seems to be much lighter on the CPU than I remember as well. So that's, you know, maybe that's good. No beer in the bar. I don't think. Well, I mean, to be honest, this stream today is really just a review of does the game technically work. I'm not going to concentrate on the actual content of the game. Maybe we'll do that in a future look at what's going on. But this guy looks like he's off Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan. But the NPCs are all walking about doing their thing, and this is definitely an improved frame rate from before, at least for me. 40. Okay, so it's kind of okay. There's mission givers, people walking around, having a look out the window. Go over to the bar. Okay, so a typically depressed looking bartender, which I know I can't get a beer from, which is a real shame. 41, let's have a look through, because it's sometimes the transparent glass that was the big problem. It's a little bit janky, but seems okay. Seems okay. So there's it's definitely got better. There seems to be some slight odd hesitations in the movement, but it's okay. There are some nice reflections on the floor, so stuff like that is working. No missing textures that I can see. And no shockingly bad frame rate drops, hopefully. Stream seems to be quite happen. So it's not PowerPointing, no, which is a good thing. I see they haven't tidied up. Why do you still boxes lying everywhere? What? Anyway, it's not about the content, it's about the technicalities today. So that's what we're kind of looking at. Sharon, thank you very much for that. I do genuinely want to get back to doing some interactive Elite Dangerous kind of storytelling content. That's the objective, but it does hinge on the game working, so that's the thing. But so far, we'll wander around. It is actually, it feels okay. I'm looking at this thinking, yep, this is playable. So this is good. Okay, so okay, in that case tick 2. So this, at least this station interior is working. There are transparent bits of glass which definitely were problematic, which whilst my PC, I can hear the fans, I don't know if you can, I can hear them, they are running hard, and it's certainly still, I would say, pushing my PC harder than any other game I've got, including Microsoft Flight Simulator, interestingly enough, which I would have thought was actually the best, or the toughest assignment for my PC. It's okay, but it seems good. I'm just interested actually while I'm here, and I said I wouldn't do this, but I'm interested. So, okay, this is ultra mode, so this is what the game thinks it's capable of doing. Does it make any difference if I drop settings? Let's just see. Have I turned on? I am slightly curious. I won't make these changes permanent, but what am I doing? Not controls. Graphics. I currently have, okay, so what options has it selected? It's selected Ultra for me. Has it, what else can I actually do? So quality, I'm assuming this is. Texture quality, okay, so upscaling is AMD FSR 1. Everything else is Ultra. Blur is on. I don't know what most of this stuff means, to be honest. I'm just curious, actually, just to see if I switch it down to high, does it make any difference? So let's go back to that. Okay, so this is in high mode, and it doesn't look noticeably less fidelity to me. I'm not really seeing a change in FPS either. So I don't know. Just out of curiosity, let's just try low, just because. does it actually make a difference? I don't know. How bad does it look? Okay, it looks horrible. And okay, well there we go. The FPS has jumped up to 60 frames per second, so it's certainly playable. That's a lot smoother actually. It looks, yeah, all the reflections have got. Well, actually no, they haven't. There's some reflections. You can see the jaggies everywhere, but it's really smooth on low, which I suppose you would expect it to be. So at least you can now, well, at least based on that short test, you can tailor the settings now to give yourself a little bit more frames per second. So that's an option that definitely didn't work for me before. So that's encouraging. Again, that I can reduce the quality settings in order to up the FPS. That's a trade-off that I'm happy to have, which didn't work before. So that's also good. It actually feels really smooth now, although you can see the graphics don't look so great. Although, to be honest, for low, I don't think they're too bad. You can see the edges are not sharp, but and you can see some things popping in the distance. It's Commander Paphos. Hello, sir. But this could be a solution, so that's good. So I've got some performance options. Let's go back to where I was, because we can also check those sort of things. So I'm going to stick with Ultra because that's what the game reckons it should be able to do. And that looks immediately so much better. You can see the lighting changes, but then I'm down to frames per second. Still okay. 40 plus I can probably kind of live with. So it's good. It's good. I will give that a cautious thumbs up as well. Try medium just out of curiosity. Okay, so let's see what medium looks like. Options. Control. No, not controls. Why do I keep clicking in controls? Has this menu been moved about a bit? My muscle memory seems to be clicking in the wrong place. Let's just try medium just out of curiosity. I can feel the heat. Oh, hang on, it dropped very low there for a moment. Okay, so this is medium, and again, a bit of a frames per second boost. Still some reflections there. Can see the jagged edges, and some of the lighting isn't nearly sophisticated, but it's back up to 59, 60 frames per second. So it looks like mid is perfectly viable as well. Okay, so, and I haven't yet experienced any of those weird drops where it drops down for a period of time and then sometimes recovers. Anyway, so good. All right. Let us go to Ultra again. I'm going to get in my ship and I'm going to fly down to... there's only one atmospheric planet in this system that you can land on, so I'm going to go there. I'll show you that when we get to the hangar. Docking home music. I usually keep games on Ultra and then start turning down shadows and ambient occlusion. Okay. So yeah, okay, there's lots of little things like that. But actually, I mean, the concourse has always been quite heavy for me, but this hangar is much brighter now, so they have been listening to the lighting issues that we've been talking about. It's, you know, I can see everything now. The funny thing is, again, after playing No Man's Sky, this ship looks implausibly large. It just looks like a massive behemoth. Because of course in No Man's Sky you only fly like a little fighter ship. This just looks vast, and it's only a medium ship, which is quite funny. Anyway, let's get back on board. So I'm not commenting on any of this Armstrong moment stuff that has been endlessly lampooned, quite amusingly to be honest, by certainly in Latvian friends. So you know my views on that. This fade to black stuff. That's not what I'm evaluating at the moment. Literally, does the game work? Okay, so again, we saw a little bit of a performance drop there, but it didn't have any impact on anything, so that's okay. So let's launch the ship. See where we can go. Just in terms of temperature, okay. So my I have a GTX 1070. My temperature as measured by Afterburner right now is 77 degrees centigrade, so it hasn't got to that 80% threshold. Okay, so a little bit of performance drop there in the station. I've forgotten how to fly. And the carriage up. Okay, now I'm not expecting any trouble out here in space because this was always okay for me. So yeah, no, there wasn't a moment. No, there is no Armstrong moment, not yet anyway. Now, actually looking at that, space itself, that looks okay. That looks like it's back to the sort of illumination that I would expect to see. You can see the Milky Way again, and it looks like it's, you know, the stars have got some glow around them again, so that's looking much more like Horizons did. So I'm not sure if anybody's done a side-by-side comparison of that, but that to me looks much more space gamey, I suppose. I suppose is the phrase. Now I'm not expecting any problems out here because this has always been okay. So we are getting a solid 60 frames per second. The GTX temperature has dropped already to 60 degrees centigrade. It's saying 82% utilization. So space, it seems, the space part of the game is easy, okay, which is good. So that's encouraging. So yeah, no problems there. So far this is proving good. So system map, where am I going? I'm going to this planet, which is Ulexia 6. So what I'm going to do, I want to land rough first, and then I want to go to a starport, because those are the two kind of things that we need to be able to do. Okay, so frameshift drive. Over there. It's going to take us a little while to get there, as we know. Okay, so Moonprayer says he's at 52 centigrade in-game, running 2.1 gigahertz on the CPU. The stream is dropping some frames. Okay, so that's not something that I'm seeing at this end. So let's see. Okay, so other people are saying no problems. Emeroth is saying they changed the gamma issues. I'd quite like to be pitch black on the dark side of the planets as it used to be. I haven't played with the gamma. Let's just have a quick look actually at that while we're flying. Graphics, where's the gamma slider? Adjust gamma settings. So my gamma could probably be a tiny bit darker, judging by that. So that basically I can just make out that image. So let's go back to there. So maybe that will help. Oop, no, cancel. I want to apply those changes. Let's make it a little bit darker. Okay, so that looks to me to be too gloomy. So I'm going to switch it back. That's not really a criticism. That is just me going, no, I don't like that. I've always found the gamma, to be honest, okay. Personally, some people, you know, I think their mileage will vary a little bit on that one, but that's okay. Okay, so let's get to Ulexia 6A and let's find out what the planet services is like. Now, I've seen from the patch notes and stuff that they have changed and added quite a lot of colour and stuff to the planets, which is again good. Had a stream hiccup, but so I'm not getting any issues here being reported. So I think that's just the internet doing its thing. So if I see anything, what I was experiencing before was that Elite Dangerous Odyssey was interfering with Twitch in a weird way between either the GPU or the CPU. Turned out that it was definitely to do with the fact that the graphics card was being overloaded and there wasn't enough rendering space left or something like that. I've switched it to software mode, X264 I think it is, the encoding that I'm using to stream this now, in order to avoid that problem. To give Elite Dangerous Odyssey the best chance it has of working. Let's continue to see. So out here in space again, this is good. Okay, no issues. Space is working fine. So that's, I suppose, 3 out of 5. We have a thumbs up from Drew. Okay, so there's 5 basic categories. One was in the ship. One was in the concourse. 3 is now out here in space. 4 is going to be landing rough. Okay, this definitely looks different. Okay, there was a bit of a texture pop there. So this planet has totally changed since last time I was here. There's been some great geological upheaval across the galaxy. So let's choose something that looks interesting. If I was a NASA space probe, where would I choose to land? I think these coloured rills, these valleys, look interesting. Okay, from space, those look interesting. So let's go down towards these valleys and see what they look like at point blank range, and see what how the train works. So EDO is GPU heavy. The GPU can't also run the Twitch streams. That exactly seems to be the case for me, at least, Buffo. Is when I was using my GPU to also render the stream, it couldn't cope when EDO is running. EDO is the only game that does that, but the workaround for me was to switch to software encoding. Okay, so that's gone. Okay, so again, it's kind of looking okay. There is some fine detail showing up. I can see the textures uploading themselves. Is there actually any terrain variation here? I'm going to choose one of these lines actually to see if there's anything interesting. Although there's some quite nice colour variations here. Tell you what we can do is we can fly down and fly across it. Okay, so I've still got 50, 60 frames per second on approach. Again, good. CPU temperature, GPU temperature is rising again. It's up to 70. 85% utilization. Again, the terrain looks okay, I would say. I mean, obviously we've never been to any exoplanets or exoplanet moons, so who knows, right, what things actually look like. So this has got, I can see some sort of geology going on here, which I quite like. Okay, there's a grey area here, which is, it's very dotty. I don't know if that's showing up on the stream. Okay, so my FPS has now dropped to 30, 40. It's looking very pixely, I suppose. Okay. The other thing I did notice there, and that is a fair comment, is that that most of the detail I saw from space is still visible here, which is encouraging. Okay, so I'm now flying across the surface. Now this is where it definitely went wrong before. Okay, so I'm now flying across the surface at a low altitude at kind of full throttle, and we had all sorts of texture popping problems, and the performance was awful. But here, it's okay. We have 50 frames per second. Cautious thumbs up. Don't hit the ground, Drew. Oops. I've got to watch the ground. There's undulating terrain. Okay, so 50, 40 frames per second. I'm getting into some more complicated terrain now, so let's see if that has an impact. Frames per second, 40. Okay, but still okay. I'm not seeing that weird undulating terrain that we saw. The kind of where the mountains move up and down. That seems to not be there. The colour variation is working as we change terrain. Again, hopefully it's working on the Twitch stream. I'm now getting 60 frames per second, and I think I'm right in saying we're still on ultra mode. So I can see some decent levels of surface graphics down there. This is good. This is good. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything to complain about here at all. I'm going to try flying through this gap in the map. Now, does that look like a realistic surface? Well, it's a bit plasticine-y. I'm a canyon racer. Ooh, not a very good one. My piloting skills clearly haven't improved. Okay, a bit of texture popping there with some rocks on the ground. I'm not doing this very well. I suppose I bet. Let's land. Okay, so this is the other thing. Let's land. Okay, so this is quite rough terrain. So again, there is some terrain, which is again nice. Almost naked my shields. Let's put some power up there. Okay, so there's some rocks down there, which... Okay, let's see if I can land down here. My flying skills are a bit rusty now. Is it going to be nice to me and allow me to land down here? Okay, so yeah, there's some blue areas. Come on. No, let's go back a bit. Come on. Oh, there's one just about there. Right, can I get onto it? Down we go. dropped it down. Right, let's jump out. I'm in my Dominator suit. Actually, I'll probably want the Mavericks, the Artemis suit for this. Same time, let's go out and have a look. Okay, so flying around the surface again. I think pretty easy to land. If only it was that easy. Okay, so that was okay. Okay, so I'm now on foot, and I've got 30 frames per second, which is now getting a bit marginal, but it's kind of okay. There's my ship parked precariously. The landscape isn't bad actually. It looks a bit grainy, and those hills over there just do not look very realistic. But the close-up textures, it's kind of like a weird sand. What sort of temperature have I got here? 85 Kelvin. Okay, so it's really freezing cold. Kind of looks okay. 35 frames per second is just about all right. So, oh, that was a texture pop. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Looks. I think that looks in that direction. It looks really good. I love that craggy, outcroppy nature there. Okay. Well, there's a ship as well. If that's an NPC or not. That looks pretty good. Okay, that looks pretty good. This is interesting. In that direction, those mountains look absolutely horrible. That just looks like plasticine. Whereas these ones look pretty good. So I wonder if that's just the lighting doing that. But we're getting 35, 40. My CPU is the GPU is now at 98% utilization again. Temperature of 76. So my temperature isn't peaking up, into the dangerous 80 degrees centigrade area yet. It hasn't reached that, which is good. So okay. Again, encouraging. Not perfect, but imminently playable. So I'm going to give that half a thumbs up, I think. I don't know how that's going to suffer if there are any other players about, but so far that's good enough to use. So okay. Yeah, 98% CPU. I know it's a lot, but I can hear the cooling fans ring again. Fan speed is 2,500 RPM, so I think that's pretty much full whack. Okay, so it's working. I do like the fact you can recharge your suit automatically. That is a nice comfort feature to have. So that is a good thing. Actually, and there's a temperature change there. As I come into the sun, there is a little bit of warmth, isn't there? Is there? Yeah, 85 K. I get 6 degrees Kelvin for standing in the sunshine. Okay, so 35. Not brilliant. 35 frames per second, but I am on ultra. So let's go down a couple of modes, and give my PC a slightly easier time. Let's try high first. Back to game menu. Resume. Okay, so this is high. Doesn't look appreciably different to me that I can really see. I've now got 40 plus frames per second, which is definitely noticeably nicer. Okay, so high, to be honest, high looks okay to me. I don't really see much problem with high. Definite improvements. Let's go for mid. Not liking this. I want to keep snarky negative Drew. Well, I did promise that I would be as objective as possible. I don't, where there's criticism, I will criticise, right? Where there's been a noticeable improvement, and I think, certainly on my PC, and this of course won't apply to everybody, this is one of the really frustrating problems with this game, is it doesn't apply to everyone consistently. Okay, so in mid settings, I've now got 50, which is noticeably nicer to play and look around. That feels really pleasant now. You notice the difference actually from 30 to 40 to 50. You really notice it. So I'm gonna, I sort of set myself the pass mark because it should be able to play at 60. Okay, and until it plays at 60 reliably, at a decent graphics setting, and I'm, for my PC, looking at this, I can see that the graphics aren't as good now. I kind of want high at 60 frames per second. If it does high at 60 frames per second, I'm personally going to consider it fixed. It hasn't achieved that yet, but stuff has been moved in the right direction. So that is definitely an improvement. Let's just try low, just for science. I have no intention of using low because it shouldn't be necessary. Okay, so back to game, resume. Okay, on low settings, and it absolutely looks ghastly now. I've got 60 frames per second. Okay, but that's not playable from a graphical content perspective. It just looks, I can't stream that. That's just, that just looks like melted ice cream, doesn't it? It looks horrible. So there is that. Okay, so low gives me the frames per second, but it's that looks awful. I mean, actually the foreground stuff looks okay. That rock looks pretty good, although it's popping and changing as I approach, which isn't great. But those background hills look absolutely dreadful. So, okay, back to Ultra. Okay, so I'm going to give that half a thumbs up. Nothing wrong with ice cream. No, I agree. Except when it's the planet's surface. That's very wrong with ice cream. Okay, so there we go. Right, so Ultra. Again, that still doesn't look very realistic over there, but some of this stuff does. I mean, that looks really good. That rock there, that looks like a mountain I'd be interested in climbing in real life. As does that one. That looks really nice. Look at all the kind of, I mean, I know it's fake, but look at all the kind of geology stuff that you could possibly do over there. You can see that there's a different texture there. There's some outcroppings and various other bits. Whereas that one just looks like still really kind of looks like an ice cream splodge, and that might be because of the distance, but I don't know. So some of the stuff is looking quite good, some of it less so. Frames per second is not quite there, but I'll give bonus points for a noticeable improvement. It is quite, and I haven't, I'm only looking at one planet here, and that's really all I've got time to do today. But they definitely get bonus points for this suit recharge. That's a really good idea. So well done on that one. Nice and easy way to recharge your suit. Right, so let's go and find a settlement. Okay, so frames per second in there. Again, more bonus points in that. I'm not getting any. What I haven't seen yet, and again, I do really feel. I mean, and comparisons here aren't. That's a Commander Apaphis' ship. So the multiplayer, at least in the Spectrum. Let me see if I can wing up with Commander Apaphis, because that will test the multiplayer a bit as well, won't it? Let's just try that. If he's willing. Where is he? Commander Apaphis is local. Can I invite to it's team now, isn't it? There we go. I'm going to invite him to a wing. Let's see how that stuff works. I have been, and I know, it's not really fair to compare Elite Dangerous and No Man's Sky, because they are very different games, and I completely get that. That actually looks. Look at the terrain here. This actually looks really good in some places. I'm just going to stop here and comment on this because this is quite interesting. This bit here, directly in front of me, literally directly in front of me, the center view of the console here, that looks really good. I don't know if my mouse pointer is not going to work, but there's like a sedimentary alluvial plain there almost, where a river might once have gone through. That actually looks quite good. Whereas if I pan over here, then we've just got totally ludicrous ice cream. Look at those pointy mountains. That's just insane. Those things would not survive. Okay, they look like height map aberrations to me. They just look completely unrealistic. So that looks very, very stupid. Whereas this stuff over here, where is it again? That bit there, particularly where you've got that kind of flooded basin there, looks like a sedimentary build-up from some past water that maybe was here a million years ago, a billion years ago, and has since evaporated. That bit looks really good. So it's inconsistent, but I will give them marks for some of the surface areas looking interesting. Now, of course, what I want to do as an explorer is I want to land there and sample the soil, which I can't do, but again, potential. Anyway, I've got a wing with a paper, so I'm going to go to a settlement. We have 5 settlements here. Brant's Retreat, something economics, a chemical hub. I don't think it really matters which is the closest one. Let's go to Brent's. Borodavia Chemical Depot, Chemical Hub. And there's a genomics one. Let's go to Brent's Retreat. I don't think it really matters. Okay, so I'm going to probably fly up into space to do this. Okay, so out of a possible 4 so far, yeah, we've got 3.5 thumbs up, which is encouraging. So it kind of now it's kind of all resting on the outpost. Is the outpost okay? I don't even know where is the. Is it? It'll always be under the horizon because it kind of always is. Yeah, that's down there. Okay, so I've got to fly around the planet, which is fine. Everything else seems to be working, so no wacky frame drops. Escape vector. No crash to desktop, which is good. No, I mean, surface graphics I still think need a lot of work. They've definitely got some potential. Some of that stuff down. Ooh, what was that? That's new. Did everyone see that? That was kind of like a weird blue flash. I don't know if that was intentional or. No bonus points for not breaking space. Yes, I suppose that's for, actually. To be honest, they have fixed space. I think because the lighting is now, I would say, kind of nice again. I know it's we can go into talk about realism and all that kind of cobblers, but it's a space opera game. We haven't had any connection or multicolored adders and all those kind of things, or torp cobras and stuff, have we? So stability. And I am playing in a PG, so there's opportunity for, and Commander Apaphis is here. I don't know. Have I lost? Oh, I got the feeling this was a bug. Yeah, it undid my destination lock for some reason. I don't know why it did that. I think that's a bug, which was there before. Oh, now we've gone into. Let's go. There's Brent's Retreat down there. Okay, so let's get on top of Brent's Retreat. To slow down. There we go. Right, okay, so Brent's Retreat is there. There is some interesting textures on this planet, so it looks like the planet variety is definitely better. Okay. So that's encouraging. So I'd recommend exit to main menu and reload from desktop. See changes, looks good, but I miss all those insane parts. Yeah, I must admit, I'm kind of, as I was walking around the surface there, it's kind of like, this place looks really boring. There's nothing to interact with. It would be nice. I mean, one of the things I think that Elite could really benefit, if there was a feature, if there was one feature I would pinch from No Man's Sky to put in Elite Danger, it would be the scanner. Okay, because in No Man's Sky you can point that scanner at pretty much anything and it will scan it, and yes, you get some credits straight away and blah 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 blah, blah, or units received, should I say. But you get everything you can interact with. So the plants, the fauna, the flora, the animals, the rocks. You can scan different types of rocks and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so we're dropping out of glide here. It's stopped. No, we're still here. Okay, so FPS drop a little bit there. And I get that Elite needs to be a bit more realistic, but why can't I sample the soil whenever I want to land? Why can't I sample that rock? All that sort of sciencey stuff. And it doesn't, the one thing that No Man's Sky does really well though is it gives you a whole bunch of pseudoscience of the stuff that you've discovered. And it doesn't make a lot of sense, but let's be fair, an awful lot of Elite Dangerous, particularly in the engineering side of things, doesn't make any sense either. So I do get a bit peeved when people pull the realism card, and I go, okay, so we've still got not very good looking realistic landscape here, but we do have a facility. Let's see if we can land. The game feels like it's gone a bit janky actually. 31 frames per second. Oh come on, Elite Dangerous, don't give up now. I've got landing permission, 34 frames per second. Stay above 30 and you can get half a thumbs up. Don't dip into the 20s, otherwise you're going to blow it. Okay, so here we go. Landing. I'm not very good at landing, as you all know. Landing gears are good. Well, I like the way the sand has sort of half covered up the landing pad. Okay, so here we go. This game is feeling awful now. Oh, it's dropped under 20, under 30 frames per second. Oh, come on. Why? I mean, we are in Ultra. Can always drop down a bit, I suppose. That's now not good at all. I don't know what it's like on the stream. Sorry, there's the Space Raiders coming down really heavily in the background. It's absolutely chucking it down. I may have to go and close the window. Hang on a minute. Absolutely hammering it down that way. Okay, so the FPS wasn't good there. We did have some dips into the 20s, which isn't good, but it was only brief. I got 31, 29. It's flickering now into that red zone. So okay, so let's disembark. Let's keep giving it a chance. Okay, so 28, 21, 19. It's not displaying anything. Why is the FPS so low? Okay, it's thinking about it. Okay, here we are on the planet's surface. 21, 22, ships taking off. Okay, yeah, this doesn't feel good to play at this point. It feels really sluggish. So close as well. Okay, so this is ultra mode, so I'm struggling to get a decent frame rate now. It feels horrible now compared to how it did. I don't know if this is a particularly complicated settlement or not, but it doesn't feel nice now at all. So let's drop some settings, see if that helps. Okay, so let me drop to, let's do the normal thing. Let's drop to high, apply. Okay, I'm down to high settings now. Okay, now I've got 28, 27. Okay, so that's helped a small amount, but I wouldn't, no, it still feels horrible. Come on. Okay, so it's just about okay on high. Just about. Okay, let's walk up the main drag. So I can see the shadows, and is that Commander Paphos there? Yep. So we've still got multiplayer is still working. Drop the shadow quality. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the settings one by one. I'll have a play with the shadow quality, because if I can get it to work on ultra, because I basically decided that high is the absolute minimum I will accept because of the way that everything looks. Let's just go for mid out of curiosity. Okay, so mid is only giving me 30. Actually, look at that. It's down to 25, up to 33. It feels a bit smoother there. Okay, so this is mid, but it's still not great. And presumably if we go to low, it will get a little bit better. Controls, graphics. Let's go for low, just because science, right? Let's have a look. Back to game menu, resume. Okay, so that's interesting. Look, on low, I'm not getting a boost at all. It's still bad, which I don't really get. Yeah, I don't understand this stuff well enough. Okay, so on low, I'm not. It still feels horrible. I'm still not getting a performance boost at all. It's still sitting there at 33 frames per second. Interesting enough, and here's another thing that's weird. Okay, so just going back to my settings, the overlay settings. So the GTX 1070 is reporting 71 degrees centigrade. Okay, it's only saying 60% utilization. My i7 processor is reporting 78 degrees centigrade and only 45% utilization. Okay, it isn't using either of them to its full power, and yet I'm only getting 31 frames per second. So why? There's still something in this engine or in this code that can't, for whatever reason, make use of what the full power of the PC. It just isn't using it. It's using less than half, and it's only giving me. So what's, technical people need to understand. Explain why. I'm just literally. Somebody said to me, have a look at Task Manager while it's doing this. So I'm just having a look at my processors. I'm just going to have a look here. I can't split it into individual CPUs, unfortunately. I'd like to know whether it's using one core more than others. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. Anyway, so I'm not getting decent frames per second. Let's just try some of the other suggestions. So I'm going to go back to Ultra. So I'm guessing by this they have made some tweaks in Update 6, and those tweaks, by and large, have made a worthwhile improvement. But I don't think the fundamental issue has been resolved. Whatever that is, the actual internals of the code where something isn't quite right. I'm going to switch. Where's the shadows? Blimey, so many options. Spot shadow, is that the one I'm after? Oh, if you right-click the CPU graph, you can change it to show per core. Okay, let's just see what's going on. I don't think you guys can see this. Sorry. Let me just have a look. Right-click. Summary view. No. Change graph to logical processors. Okay, so that's showing. Anyway, that's not giving me anything useful. It seems to imply that all of my cores are being roughly equally utilised. But I don't know. This is not my thing. Right. So which is the shadow thing that is the problem? Texture quality, texture filter quality, directional. How smooth shadows are. Okay, so let's move that down to low. Okay, so I've now got custom setting. Back to game menu, resume. Okay, so I've left the shadows now on low and everything else ultra on high, and that's absolutely ghastly. Oh, it's got a bit better there for a moment. 28, 27. Okay, so it just feels 28 frames per second. So that's not. Okay, so here's okay, so this is the AI coming across to.
Why are you moving nervous?
All right.
Good, you're clear.
I'm clear. Good. Thank you for that. I might shoot you later on just because you're rude. Okay, so FPS 27, and this is. No, there's still this bit still isn't quite there. It's definitely better. I mean, it's not. It's dropping into. It's so funny how it feels. It's just utilization. Okay, so here, I'm just going to go back to ultra, pure ultra, as it were, for a moment, because that's my desired mode. I'm prepared to compromise with high, but ideally I like ultra. Let's go back to ultra. Nothing I do seems to have a major effect on the FPS actually. So okay, so just for utilization here, here. Looking around the settlement, my CPU is showing about 44% utilization, whereas my GTX is now showing 90% utilization, so almost full. So the ultra mode seems to be making use of the machine. Temperatures are okay, high 70s, but not into that 80 threshold. But the FPS is crawling around in the 20s. That's really not very good. It looks very jaggedy. I don't know what it looks like on your stream, but it's look. Okay, so I've heard a lot of settings need moving to another system to take effect. Okay, I don't know if I can go inside any of these settlements. Are any of these open to me? Oh, these ones are. So this is a security level. Let's see. Does it improve if I go inside? Actually, no, it doesn't. It's even worse. So down here. Okay, so it's now down to 21. This looks and feels dreadful at this point. I'm just wondering. Again, let's give the game the benefit of the choice. Let's. Well, now I'm getting thunder. If my stream goes offline. I don't know if you could hear that. I've now got thunder and lightning outside. Let me just. I don't know if it's going to save my position, but let me go out of the game, come back in and see if the FPS resets. Shall I exit to main menu, or shall I? Oh, let's try both. I'm going to exit to main menu first. Give it a moment. Let's continue. I'm going to go back in and see if that helps. Okay, so it's remembered I'm on foot. FPS counters all over there as it's loading. Well, not that it really matters, because there we go. So is it CPU bound? Is it GPU bound? I have no idea. I'm just trying to use the game. But what I do need it to be is filmable and consistent. Okay, it's put me back outside. Oh, and sort of teleported the rock in place there. Oh, I'm miles away. It doesn't remember where I was. Okay, well that's fair enough. Okay, so FPS kind of hasn't recovered here. It's still 25, 24. So that hasn't fixed it. Okay. If you'll just bear with me, I'm going to go back to the desktop and totally reload everything and see if that helps. Does AMD upscaling help you in the settlements? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to quit here. And okay, now I've just got a black screen. Oh no, it has quit properly. Okay, that's good. It didn't do that before. It quit out without me having to kill it. So that's better. Okay, so yeah, I am streaming in 1080p, or I'm playing in 1080p. I think it's probably streaming in 720. But what happens to GPU use? Now I'm trying. So let's be. I do appreciate all these technical fixes, but I'm trying to. I don't want to have to become a technical tinkerer on a game to make it work. For me, the product should work out of the box. I don't mind adjusting the odd slider, but I just don't want to get into all this trying to try 6 billion different settings trying to make it work, because I don't feel I should have to. I really don't feel I should have to, because it should just work. When I installed No Man's Sky, I haven't touched any graphical settings in No Man's Sky. I just switched it on, pressed E a lot, because that seems to be the key in the game. It just worked. Okay, it should work. I can kind of cope with ultra high, medium, low. That I'll give it. Any more than that, I don't feel as a person who wants to play a game I should have to bother with. That's my personal opinion. Your mileage may vary, but that is my personal opinion. If it doesn't work on the preset settings, and in particular in this game, it chose ultra itself. Okay, it chose ultra itself. I didn't tell it to choose ultra. That's how it profiled my PC, and so I should be able to play it on ultra if the game has already decided that. That's my view. You may disagree, and I understand if you do. But there we go. Right, here we go. Let's try again. Right, I do want to try this AMD set. I will try the AMD setting. Okay, let's see. Okay. For those of you who don't know what the spec of my PC is, again, GTX 1070. I have 8 gigabytes of RAM. Thank you for the stream for that clarification. I have an i7 8700 CPU and 16 gigs of RAM, and this is running from an SSD. Okay, so if that makes any difference to the game, I'm seeing not quite so excessive CPU utilization as I saw before, and GPU utilization. Let's get that FPS counter. Actually, if anything, the FPS is now worse after restart. Actually, no, it's recovered there. It's just absolute borderline okay. Borderline okay. And this is weird. Even here, okay, I'm on the planet's surface. This is where I need my PC to really be doing its thing, to get my FPS up. And my CPU is showing 40% utilization. 40%. Okay, it's not harming the CPU at all. But oddly enough, the GPU, the 1070 GTX, is only being used at 70% here as well. It just isn't using the entirety of the PC. Because, well, I don't know. I mean, you tell me. I'm a technical person. Yeah, so I'm Grippy Gecko. So games that only become playable when you shut down everything else on the PC player and edit init files, move sliders. That's not a finished product, okay? And I don't think it's correct to endorse a product that needs that. It's not finished. It simply isn't finished. Okay, there we go, 25 frames per second. I want to get inside the building again. Let me just try the AMD thing, just because I don't know what that does. See, and I don't know what this stuff does. I don't, to be honest, and I don't really want to learn. That might sound. Is it upscaling? So that's normal. AMD FS. So I don't. Using the built-in upscaler, it's actually switched on. A cutting-edge, super optimal spatial upscaling technology. I have no idea what that means. Okay, I have no idea. It's on, whatever it is. I think that's it. Anyway, so let's go back. Resume. Okay. I'll walk down there. Is this guy going to scam me again? He probably is, isn't he?
Wait, Commander.
Yeah, right then.
You pilot fed types are usually busy. Always legal work, right?
Okay.
You're clean.
I'm clean, good. Right, so there we go. FSR makes lower res textures higher res. Okay, so anyway, it's switched on for whatever reason that is doing. Okay, so I just want to go around the inside of this building. That's kind of the last test. Okay, so I'm not, I mean, surprise, surprise, I'm not, it's not getting a thumbs up for me on this bit yet. It's better in terms of stability, but it's not getting a thumbs up for me yet. Let's just go in here because this really punished it before, and it still is. Okay, it's dropping to 2020. Yeah, okay, there's a bar here.
Yes.
No, he's an administrator. Yes. Everybody's very rude in the Elite Dangerous universe. Can't they say good afternoon? It's not very British, is it?
No need to stand so close.
Okay. What is it? Social distancing going on here. Okay, so again, looking at the windows, it's close. Okay, I will give them that. It is close. Oh, I'm being scanned by. I don't want to get into any trouble around here because my character. Okay, you can see the FPS. Okay, so let's turn off my torch. It's working. Okay. So bonus points for it hasn't crashed. Bonus points for it hasn't crashed. Bonus points also for it has a consistent frames per second. Is that glowing blue there? Is that reflecting from something? What's that reflecting off? Oh, there's a blue thing over there. It's working. It hasn't fallen over in a heap like it has on previous streams. Okay. Now kill everybody in the settlement and see if that increases the FPS. So presumably the AI of the NPCs is actually affecting. Yeah, the FPS goes up slightly. Okay, so they are talking to me. That's a restricted area, so she's presumably guarding that. Okay, so it's working.
Wait, Commander.
Who's tagged me?
I'm gonna run you through the scanner.
Okay.
Results are clear. Keep it that
Okay.
way.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm going to go back out because I think I've got my conclusion. I think my conclusion is update 6 is noticeably better. Okay, noticeably better. I would say we've got good improvements in stability. From my perspective, and this is my test on my PC and my configuration. Okay, so notable improvements in stability. That is definitely good. It hasn't crashed. I haven't got any unexpected, sudden, abrupt changes in frame rate, which was really plaguing me before.
Try that again.
They're very rude. But settlement performance, look at that, 19 frames per second. Settlement performance isn't good enough. Okay, not yet. But, so just to recap, the concourse was okay. Okay, that one got a thumbs up. The hangar was okay, that got a thumbs up. Space, unsurprisingly, that got a thumbs up. The planets away from the settlements, I gave them half a thumbs up because it worked reasonably well. So out of a possible 5, update 6 gets 3.5. Now that is, as far as I'm concerned, actually quite good news, because what it means is that some progress has been made to the point where the game is actually usable for the things that I want to do for it. So is update 6 good enough in of itself? No, it's not. Does update 6 show that the direction of travel is in the right direction and that it's worth content creators like me looking at the game and starting to think of plans for when it is fixed, which hopefully isn't too far away? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's my takeaway from this, is that no, it's not ready. It's still, I would say it's sort of, at this point I would say it was a good beta. It's moved out of alpha. I would say it was a good beta now. And it is, it's noticeably better. I don't think they fixed the fundamental problem, whatever the fundamental problem is with the interior and all the code and all the engine and all that kind of cobblers. Then I think it is better. From my perspective, and this would be entirely selfish, from the point of view, I want to use Elite Dangerous to tell interactive stories, and I need consistent frame rate, streamability, reliability, and good FPS, okay, so that I can effectively film it and all that kind of good stuff. Then, yes, this is good. It's the right direction, but it isn't good enough yet. Okay, so update 6 isn't the Jesus patch, but it's showing that they're heading in the right direction. That's my sort of summary, I think, of the stream. So on my Discord, then, this is good news for those of you who have kind of hoping that we might get back to some of the Elite Retribution stuff, is that we can start thinking about planning. Okay, now I don't really want to kick that off until the console player base and the Elite Dangerous Horizons and Odyssey universes are combined anyway. Okay, and then there will be other things kicking off then, probably with Frontier's official narrative as well, which we can kind of blend and get involved in. But it does mean at least we've got the possibility that the game is actually going to be playable and usable for that in relatively, in the hopefully not too distant future. So I will stop at that point, because that's my conclusion. I think 3.5 drew thumbs up out of a possible 5, and kudos to Frontier for moving in the right direction. This is, had this been the state of the game at the end of the alpha, I think we'd have all been, it looks pretty good. Just optimize that frames per second and we're good, right? That frames per second in the settlements needs to be 45, 50 plus on high and ideally ultra for it to be okay. All right, but the good news is that there is definitely showing some promise in the textures. That seems to be better. The planet variation is nice. I've heard there's new funky things with the camera suite as well, which means I can actually, we could probably try that. Let's go to an external view of the ship. There we go, and we can now go to more, as I understand it, we can go to more. We can look inside things better. Let's just have a quick fly around with the camera. It doesn't occlude. Yeah, see, that's really nice. So actually now I can make nice panning shots of the scenery with the external camera using my joystick to effectively, there's a range limit, fly around the surface without getting that nasty black screen occlusion. So that, again, for content creators, that is a fabulous feature. That's almost worth a thumbs up in itself, because look at the sort of stuff I can do in terms of making content. Okay, that is really nice. Okay, I'm very, very happy with that sort of stuff. That is a brilliant plus. So there's lots of good stuff. Okay, so the tone here, sorry to disappoint those of you who expect me to be really snarky and down on this, but the direction is positive. Okay, there's new features in there. The planets are getting better. The camera suite, that's really nice. I like that. Frontier, just focus on that FPS problem, for God's sake. Fix that FPS problem, and then we're good. Okay, the game is saved, and the doom will stop happening. And then us content creators, those who really want to put together high quality or best quality stuff, we can still do that. Now, I don't intend to not do No Man's Sky, because I'm really enjoying that, and that's my Thursday for the time being. Okay, but there's no reason why I can't play Elite Dangerous as well, right? And I do want to continue to do the Elite Dangerous storytelling that we've been doing. So the No Man's Sky stuff will stay. Don't worry about that. That's a good feature. And I do want to continue going through that, because there's lots to play in there as well. So many space games so little time. But what I wanted to do with this stream is basically evaluate Update 6. And my conclusion is good progress, strong progress. A few nice extra touches like the auto recharge when you're standing underneath the ship ready to board, and the external camera is a really nice feature. Lots of positive thumbs up, lots of movement in the right direction. Not good enough yet for prime time, but heading in the right direction. Is that fair? You tell me. That's my conclusion. Okay. So I think it's I think it's positive. All right. I think it's positive. It's not there yet, but it's positive. All that joy and happiness, quite disgusting, right? And yeah, my PC. I mean, you tell me. I don't know much about PC specs. I think my PC is probably reasonably typical of what people are running out there. It certainly isn't state of the art, like a 3070 or a 2080 and all those kind of modern things. It's a couple of generations behind in terms of its graphics power, so it's not state of the art. My i7 processor is probably quite a good one. I bought that for video editing. But I'm certainly not down kind of, I think it's potato we call it, isn't it? the potato end. I don't think I'm down there either. I think I'm on a reasonably representative moderate to good PC, and I should expect perfectly reasonable performance on that kind of rig. So that's my view on that particular one. It's about 300% better than mine, says Nim Dashgren. There we go. So it's a reasonable PC. It's not super state of the art, but it's reasonable. But having said that, the game didn't crash. And it was stream. Okay, and we were streaming it live, and I was chatting to you guys on stream. So there we go. So from my perspective, in terms of the things I want to do, and I'm talking about Elite Retribution here, I can start thinking about planning again. So that's a good thing. So I was most miffed with Odyssey for totally screwing up my plans earlier in the year. This now means that we can start thinking about Season 2. Which is really, really good. So that will hopefully come as a nice surprise for people on the Discord and stuff, and we can kind of get back into there and start thinking about it and start planning. It won't start until these problems are fixed, and it won't start until we have a unified universe again, because it's just not fair on everybody. And you want as many people to take part as possible. But we can at least start, okay? So there we go, there's my summary, all right? 3.5 thumbs up, shows potential, moving in the right direction, keep going Frontier, and but get to the for God's sake, get to the bottom of this FPS problem, whatever's causing it. There's still something fundamentally not quite right in there, and I'm not a technical person, I have no idea what it is, but your game is not using 100% of my computer's power, and yet and it's giving me crappy FPS as a result. So there's something fundamentally wrong, and it doesn't matter even if I change the settings down, it still doesn't work. So you've optimized it a bit, but you haven't found the actual nub of the issue. So find the nub of the issue. I know that's easy for me to say, and I know they'll be working on it, but a bit of encouragement for them from myself, Drew Wager, to Frontier Developments, heading in the right direction, keep going, find that problem, fix it, and then we're in a good place. Right, that's it. There we go, there's my evaluation of Update 6. So I hope you enjoy that, my friend. I'm now going to sign off because I've got to go and cook some dinner. So a streamer's work is never done. But anyway, it's lovely to see you all aboard, and thank you for this for joining me on this impromptu Elite Dangerous stream. I think it's good news. I think we're heading in the right direction. So positive stuff. Anyway, what do I say? It's right on, Commanders. Let's get the right game. Right on, Commanders and 07. Anyway, be good, and I'll put this on YouTube in a bit for people to comment on. So thank you very much for your company. Do appreciate it. See you soon, and 3.5 thumbs up isn't bad. Okay, we're moving in the right direction. Take care, guys. See you soon.